Coming up on tonight's broadcast, how you can support Girls on the Run, information on the rapidly approaching commencement,
why Friday might just be the best day of the year, and of course we have your local forecast and a look at sports. All that and more right here on the Beaver News.
I hope everyone was able to enjoy the nice weather. Good evening and welcome to your Wednesday night edition of the Beaver News. I'm Tyler Dahlgren.
And I'm Mary Johnson.
Graduation is nearly 2 weeks away. With a speech by First Lady Michelle Obama, anyone planning to attend Oregon State University's June 17th commencement can expect other big changes compared to previous ceremonies. Metal detectors, additional security, and a lot more people should be expected. Organizers estimate between 33,000 and 35,000 guests will attend commencement, along with the nearly 3,300 students already signed up to participate. Last year, approximately 18,000 people attended commencement. About 500 of them were students. To keep the stadium secure and to avoid a free-for-all, organizers are requiring all guests to have tickets that were distributed to graduating students this week. Graduates and guests will be required to pass through a metal detector to enter Reser Stadium and will also be subject to a pat-down. Due to heightened security, guests and graduates also will be limited on what can be brought into the stadium. No noisemakers, balloons, wrap presents, or backpacks, in addition to the usual prohibition on weapons, fireworks, or explosives. Secret Service agents always accompany the First Lady on her travels and public appearances to provide security, so their presence is a given at this year's commencement.
The ballroom at the Alumni Center was packed on Friday for the 8th annual Student Run Fashion Show. The event showcased outfits designed by juniors and seniors in the Apparel Design Program. It featured men and women of all ages walking down the runway. The DHE 422 students designed the outfits being showcased, many of which won awards. The theme this year was circus, with carousel animals from Albany Carousel Museum on display at the end of the runway. About halfway through the show, acrobatic performances were given by gymnasts. Once the gymnastic performances were finished, the show continued on, with models walking up and down the runway for each designer, as they did before. After the show concluded, all models walked onto the runway together. Each of the designers then appeared on the runway with one of their models. Following the conclusion, awards were given.
Will you be returning to OSU next fall? If so, Transit and Parking Services is pleased to announce to the OSU community the option of purchasing parking permits, paying citations, as well as submitting appeals to a citation all online. You can now beat the rush and take advantage of the early online 2012-2013 parking permit sales online starting August 20th. Enjoy the convenience of having the permit mailed to your home or office and keep yourself out of ticket trouble.
This Friday, the MUPC is hosting its annual Battle of the Bands. This is a free event to students. Live bands perform in the hopes of winning and opening for the Flat Tail Music Festival on Saturday. The big performer of the Flat Tail Music Festival will be Seattle rapper Macklemore in the MU Quad. Both events are free and open to the public. Make sure to check out the event and see local Oregon bands duke it out for the big reward.
Battle of the Bands is definitely one of the most anticipated events of the year here on campus. I'm looking forward to working the cameras at the event and checking out some of the artists.
Yeah, and if you can't check out the event, KBVR will be hosting it live on Channel 26.
It's not just an apple a day that will keep the doctors away, but apparently curry will do the job too. Research conducted by Professor Adian Gumbard of Oregon State University has found that curcumin, which is found in the spice turmeric, increased a protein that boosted people's natural immunity. U.S. scientists have further found that sustained consumption of the particular spice found in the hot dish has infection-fighting properties, especially in the stomach and intestinal tract.
For the first and only time this year, an Oregon State University graduate student will present a theatrical production she has written and directed herself. Into the Darkness Peering, A Night with Edgar Allan Poe is an adaptation by Adrian Underwood. The production is 2 of Poe's short stories and will be performed at 7:30 for the next 3 nights this week at the Withicum Lab Theater. The entire show is about an hour and a half, nearly the length of most stage productions. All 6 actors, 4 males and 2 females, are double cast, playing multiple roles in both adaptations. Admission is free and open to all.
Oregon State's global Formula racing team recently won for the 3rd consecutive year at Michigan International Speedway in what is considered the national championship of Formula SAE racing. OSU received the 1st place overall award as well as their 1st place titles in engineering design, endurance, and the SDAE Spirit of Excellence. Cars in Formula SAE racing are judged on such factors as cost, innovation, acceleration, design, and other aspects. Students spend thousands of hours working on the vehicles and in the process learn skills in aerodynamics, chassis construction, and mechanical engineering, as well as business development and fundraising. There were 106 vehicles from around the world at this year's competition. Participants came from the United States, Canada, Austria, Germany, Finland, Singapore, South Korea, the United Kingdom, and elsewhere. It is the first time in the history of the Michigan race that a university has won for 3 consecutive years.
On Saturday, there will be an on-campus 5K Beaver Fun Run to support OSU Kid Spirit and the Girls on the Run Willamette Valley program. Girls on the Run is a nonprofit program that encourages preteen girls to develop self-respect and healthy lifestyles through running. The event includes a 50-yard dash, 500-yard dash, 1K, and 5K. If you want to participate or support the runners, races will be starting at 9 a.m. by Reser Stadium. So I think the fun run will be a really good opportunity for these girls.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, Oregon State University, the University of Maryland, and several government agencies has resulted in the Whale Watch Project. This project is a 3-year study that aims to use data analysis to reduce conflicts between human and whale activity. The study uses satellite tracking data from past OSU whale tracking studies, is aimed at creating maps of regions of whale activity, so human activities, particularly commercial fishing and shipping routes, can be measured. The goal of the project is to produce insight on how humans can make less of an impact on endangered species.
After a few days of rain last week, it's nice to finally see some sun this week and into the weekend as well.
Yes, for a look at our weather for the rest of the week, we go to Cassidy Gilroy. Cassidy?
Spencer Smallwood bringing you tonight's 5-day forecast. Tonight is expected to see a low of 54 degrees. On Thursday, we should have a high of 79 degrees and a low of 57 degrees with clear skies throughout the day. On Friday, those clear skies should continue with a high of 77 and a low of 55. Unfortunately, by Saturday, this cloud should be back with a low of 64 degrees and 46 degrees. Fortunately, it looks like the sun is here to stay for the rest of the week. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Spencer. Looks like the weather will be just perfect to enjoy a few bands this weekend. Brian Kello will be speaking in the MU Journey Room tonight as a part of the Visiting Writers Series. He is an alumni of OSU's English department, the author of 4 biographies, and features editor of the Opera News magazine. His articles have appeared in such magazines and newspapers as Travel and Leisure, BBC Music Magazine, and Newsday. He is a popular host at many New York City musical events. If you're interested, it is free and open to the public.
OSU professor and artist Julie Green recently won a $25,000 Top Art Award for her work on The Last Supper, a series that began in 2000 while she was living in Oklahoma, the state with the greatest per capita execution rate. Green paints fine china plates to catalog the poignant final meal requests of death row inmates around the country. She's painted more than 500 blue-on-white porcelain plates for the series and just received a fellowship to write a book on The Last Supper. Her work has garnered much national praise, and the high-end grocery chain Whole Foods recently produced a documentary on Green's paintings in its new online magazine, Dark Rye. Congratulations, Julie. It's now time to turn it over to Colin Snyder for a look at sports. Colin.
And welcome to another edition of Beaver Sports. I'm Colin Snyder, and this is what's new on campus. The Beaver Nation is hitting the road next week for a tour across the state, celebrating all that is black and orange. Coaches and staff and other OSU supporters.
We're having some technical difficulties, but tune in tomorrow on channel 26 for more of the news that matters most in your life. Have a nice evening.
Good night.